The Universal Xenobiology Laboratory fell silent as Marcus Chen rolled up his sleeve, revealing a jagged scar that ran from his wrist to his elbow. 23 alien students from 12 different species stared in fascination and horror at the pale, raised tissue that decorated the human's forearm. "This," Professor Veltar announced, her crystalline voice echoing through the chamber, "is what we call healing. The human sustained this injury approximately 6 rotations ago." A collective gasp rippled through the classroom. Zixka, a young Centaurian with translucent skin and forearms, raised one appendage tremulously. "Professor, that wound, it should have been fatal. The dermis layer is completely severed and I can see evidence of muscle tissue damage. How is the human still functional?" Marcus chuckled, a sound that made several students flinch. The Corvani exchange student Thess actually ducked behind her desk. "Want to hear how I got it?" "Please proceed, Marcus," Professor Veltar encouraged, though her own tentacles writhed with barely concealed anxiety. "I was rock climbing back on Earth. That's when you use your hands and feet to scale vertical stone formations for fun." Several students made notes furiously, while others simply stared in disbelief. "About 40 feet up, my anchor gave way. I fell, caught my arm on a sharp outcropping, and it opened up like a zipper." A Lexian student named Kor turned a disturbing shade of purple. You ascend dangerous surfaces for entertainment?" "Oh yeah, all the time. Anyway, the cut went pretty deep. I could see bone in some places." Marcus twisted his arm to show different angles of the scar. "Bled quite a bit too. My climbing partner said I lost about a liter before we got it stopped." The classroom erupted in panicked chittering, clicking and whistling. Professor Veltar had to activate her authority pheromones to restore order. "Students, please. This is a normal human healing process. Marcus, continue with your account." "Right, so we hiked back down, took about 2 hours, and I drove myself to the hospital." "You operated a vehicle while hemorrhaging?" Zixka's voice climbed to frequencies that made the universal translators whine in protest. "Had to. It was either that or wait 3 hours for emergency services to reach us. No big deal." Marcus shrugged, seemingly oblivious to the fact that half his audience looked ready to faint. "The doctors cleaned it out, stitched it up with about 40 sutures, gave me some antibiotics, and sent me home." "Sutures?" whispered Thess. "They literally sewed my skin back together with thread, like repairing fabric." Marcus traced the scar with his finger. "Had to keep it dry for a week, then gradually started using the arm normally again. Full mobility restored in about 6 weeks." Professor Veltar's translator struggled with the rapid-fire questions that followed. "The tissue just reconnected itself? Without technological intervention? You allowed medical practitioners to puncture your skin repeatedly? And you continued normal activities during this process?" Marcus looked genuinely confused by their amazement. "I mean, yeah. It's just how healing works. The human body is pretty good at fixing itself." "This isn't even impressive. I've bounced back from way worse." "Worse?" Professor Veltar's tentacles went completely still. Perhaps we should save additional examples for advanced coursework." But Kor, despite his unsettling purple hue, pressed forward. "What constitutes worse for a human?" Marcus considered this. "Well, there was the time I broke my leg in 3 places during a skiing accident. Or when I got food poisoning from some questionable sushi and spent 2 days violently expelling toxins from both ends. Oh, and last year I had my appendix removed. They actually cut me open and took out an organ that was trying to kill me." The silence that followed was profound. Finally, a small voice from the back of the room spoke up. It belonged to Pip, a diminutive Kalari who rarely participated in class discussions. "Mr. Marcus, on my world, any one of those injuries would require immediate life suspension protocols followed by months in a regeneration pod. Most would result in death despite intervention. You're telling us you experienced all of these and simply continued existing?" "Not just existing," Marcus corrected cheerfully. "I went skiing again the next season. And I still eat sushi, just from better places. As for the appendix thing, I was back at work in a week." Professor Veltar decided intervention was necessary before she lost any students to shock-induced catatonia. "Class, this demonstrates the remarkable resilience of Deathworld species. Humans evolved on a planet where injury and recovery were constant survival requirements. Their biological systems developed extraordinary redundancy and self-repair capabilities." "But Professor," Zixka managed, Surely this level of damage tolerance is unusual even among Deathworlders. Marcus laughed again, causing another round of flinching. Actually, I'm pretty average for a human. My grandmother survived cancer twice, broke her hip at 90 and still lived another 15 years. My buddy Dave once got struck by lightning and just complained about the headache for a few days. The class sat in stunned silence, processing this information. There's a saying where I come from, Marcus added, rolling his sleeve back down. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Though honestly, sometimes what should kill you just gives you a good story to tell. As the students filed out of the laboratory in various states of shock and awe, Professor Veltar made a note to herself. Perhaps next week's lesson on human recreational activities should be postponed until the advanced semester. Zixka paused at the door. Mr. Marcus? What exactly is skiing? Marcus grinned. Oh, that's when you strap long boards to your feet and hurl yourself down a mountain, covered in frozen precipitation at high velocity. The Zentorian student stared at him for a long moment, then quietly fainted. Professor Veltar sighed and activated the medical alert system. It was going to be a long semester,